You're listening to the Do Something More podcast, and this is episode 30 with Best Bagalwa from the Bagalwa Foundation, restoring hope for people living in the war-torn Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Welcome to the Do Something More podcast, a service-oriented show where we highlight the helpers who inspire us all to do something more. I'm your host, Melissa Draper. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of the Do Something More podcast. And today my guest is Best Bagalwa, and I am really looking forward to her telling us about her foundation, the Bagalwa Foundation, that does humanitarian projects and other things for communities in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo and Nigeria. But first, Bess, I just want to welcome you to the show and have you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Chikube Best Bagalwa. I'm sure you can tell why I don't go by my first name. I go by Best because the first name is a little bit challenging to pronounce. I was born and raised in Nigeria, and I moved to the US a couple years ago to go to school. I have a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in social work. I've been working with Utah Valley refugees as a caseworker. So anything case management, I have 5+ years experience. And I have 5 kids, and I'm married. Leonard Bukawa is my husband. And
Yeah, and he oversees the Utah Valley refugees. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. He founded that and oversees that. So wonderful things that you're doing together as a couple for so many communities. So yes, Bess, I would love to hear how you started your foundation and the beginnings of that.
So Bagalwa Foundation was actually a family tradition. When our oldest was about 6 years old, we wanted them to know what it means to serve others. And so we thought about it, and we started helping kids and women in Africa countries. Like during the holidays, instead of buying gifts and toys for the kids, we put this money together and send it to Africa to feed the women and children. And so on Christmas morning, that's the present we get to open as a family. And we've done this for over 8+ years. It's just something that we've been doing. And so on Christmas morning, we get to make a call on Skype and watch this population. They're eating, they're having a good time, just a smile on their faces. And it's been very rewarding for us. And then just this past summer, we had the opportunity to visit Democratic Republic of the Congo. And that's when I realized that the need is actually great.
Right.
It's not something that we as a family can do on our own. And so we spent 3 months in Africa with the kids. We were supposed to be there on vacation, but we ended up doing humanitarian work the whole trip. We had a lot of things done during these 3 months. And so when we got back, I started thinking, what can I do to be able to meet the needs of these women and children? And then when I say women and children, These women are either widows or rape victims.
Mm,
And so, like the population of rape victims and widows, it's a lot in the
mhm.
Eastern Congo. And so, just thinking about what more can I do? Because it's the burden it's too great for one family to handle. And
Right.
so, I came to the realization that it is time to make it public, make it official, and just see if it's something the public will be willing to donate to help these women and their children have a better life, like restore dignity to them through different programs that we offer at Bagalwa Foundation.
Yeah. Well, I love what a beautiful tradition, first of all, with your own children and your family to start and to help them see and realize. And especially, I'm sure, with both you and your husband coming here to the US, that that was a great thing to be able to instill in your children. But then, as you said, to see the need that's there. And I know eastern part of the Democratic of Congo is a war torn area. And as you said, I'm sure that there's so many different needs there.
Yeah, yeah, the need is it's unbelievable. Like it's hard to explain the feeling, until you go and see.
Right. Till you experience it for yourself.
Yes.
Well, I know I've read about some of those projects on your website, but I would love to have you share what are some of those projects and areas that you've decided to help to focus with.
So we have three programs or projects that we are focusing. And the first one is Widows and Orphanage Hope Center. We have the farm and food production, the micro hydraulic power, health clinic, clean water project, and building schools and libraries. So for the widows in orphanage hope center, it's like a safe space, a place
Mhm.
where these women and the children can come and feel like they're home, feel the love from people. Because let me mention that if in Africa or in the Eastern Congo, like if you have been a victim of rape, it's like you're an outcast. The
Mhm.
stigma, it's really, really bad. It can push anyone to become suicidal or even become depressed. And then God forbid there are kids that came out of this event, this sad thing that has happened to this person. Both the woman and the child are treated like very differently, from other people.
Right.
And
Right.
so they have no safe space. They don't feel loved because the community have like cast them out. Like, oh yeah, we don't want to have anything to do with you. Even if whatever happened to them, they're the victim. It
Right.
wasn't their fault. So this Hope Center is a place where they can come. Like everyone is welcomed to the Hope Center. There is no judgment. It's a judgment-free zone where you come and learn. We tell stories, and we teach a lot of educative classes about the women and their bodies. And we're starting with the younger generations because a lot of them don't know, they have no idea what a family planning is.
Mhm.
They've never seen or used a pad or even a tampon. So these are some of the things that we do at the Hope Center, trying to educate these people. And also while we're educating them, making sure that they feel loved. They feel that they're welcome, they're human, There is no difference between a rape victim and myself. Even the child that was produced from that event. There is no difference between that child and my own children.
Right. Yeah, I love that concept, that beautiful concept of providing a safe place and showing that and teaching it while you're there.
Yeah. And then we also have like a lot of children who are orphans
Mhm.
because this area is a war zone, right?
Right.
A lot of the kids have lost their parents and no one is taking them in. So the difference is in the US, right? Or anywhere, like when a child loses both parents, there's a system in place to help that child go to a family member or a nest of kin. But someone is going to step in to welcome and take that child in, right? But
Mhm.
then in this part of the world, like there is no system. Like there was a lot of orphans on the street in the DRC, like begging
Mhm.
for food, living, like something they can do. And a lot of them end up working in the mining.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I feel like there should be a system in place to take these kids in. Like losing both parents, it's hard enough. And then
Right.
having to feel abandoned on the streets, that's like for me, that's totally unacceptable. That shouldn't happen, which is why we have the orphanage to take this orphans in. And then the farm and food production, it's a lot of these women and children, they have no money, they have no skills. They,
Mhm.
especially the women, they have no skills. So they don't have any income to take care of their children. And so what we do is we have 5 acres of land that was donated. And
Wow.
all we did was bought seeds, like whatever kind of food they eat in DRC, we bought seeds and we started planting. Myself, my husband, my children, and some other people in the community, and also the women and the children that we serve. Like we all came together to make this happen. It was all hands on deck. We
Mhm.
planted a lot of food. So the idea is to get these women food. No, because it's really hard if you say, okay, let's send these kids to school on an empty stomach. What are they going to learn?
All right.
So the first thing is to eradicate hunger,
Right.
eradicate malnutrition. And that's by this farming. Whatever is grown from this farm, they get food from it. And then also they get to make income from it by going to the neighboring country, sell during the market season, and make income. You know,
Wow.
from that income, they're able to take care of themselves and their children. So that way, we're not only providing them fish, we're also teaching them how to fish.
Right. Yeah.
And like the whole community has no power. You won't believe this. Like in this day and age, there is no electricity in the villages, which is why we came up with the micro hydroelectric power to provide electricity to these communities. It's been a project that is long overdue. And these
Right.
people deserve to know what an electricity feels like, having an electricity at home. They need to know they deserve it. Just
Mhm.
the basic necessity of life. These
Right.
people have no access to. And so, which is why the Bagawa Foundation, like, we're coming in to provide all these things to them. Like the schools, one community, there's only one school, and the school is built out of like sticks. It's like you going to camping,
Mhm.
it's a tent. That's where these children are going to school. And I'm telling you, when it rains in this community, it rains, like it pours.
Mhm.
And imagine these little kids are at school learning, the roof is leaking, they're cold, the wind is blowing the tarpaulin that is using to cover the sides.
Mhm.
How can a child learn in such condition?
Right.
There are no good schools, and the whole community, there is no library. These children deserve better, you know.
Right.
So, which is why we're making it a priority to build schools, like basic things. Every child deserves an education, and they deserve to learn in a conducive environment. You know. And then also the water project. There is no clean water in these communities. And so we're trying to see how we can bring clean water to these people, because not having clean water is part of the reason why a lot of them are getting sick. No,
Mhm.
because they have no choice but to make do with what they have, which the consequence is getting sick. You know? And so we also are working on our health clinic, having doctors volunteer, doctors, nurses come and see these women and children for free and teach them, especially those women who are expecting, like have classes how they can take care of their body, and even after the pregnancy, how they can take care of the baby and also themselves.
Yeah, so many areas. And I just thank you for taking the time to give some perspective and education to those of us that have not seen those things firsthand and need to be aware of what the reality is for so many others. And but there's so many areas as well that you are covering with your foundation, so many needs.
Oh, yeah.
How have you been able to go about and implement and follow through on some of these needs that you've seen?
I've been able to do it through some really good people. You know, there are some people who have come together with me and make sure that we're getting the stuff like items, even if it's in-kind donations or money. You know, like I've had some really good people who really care and want to see change in these communities. And
Mhm.
so that's one way that we've been able to do some of these things. And a lot of it has also been done through just the family. My family have put in a lot of funds and efforts into all these programs, which
Mhm.
is why like it's not something that I think that we can do alone. And so
Right.
we need to come together, you know, so we can be able to help as many people as possible who need this help.
Right. And I've seen with your foundation too that you do, is it expeditions or
Yes.
what are those? How do you run those, and just explain those a little bit?
Yeah. So we like twice a year we take a group of volunteers to Democratic Republic of Congo and Nigeria. So like the first time we can go to DRC, and the second time we go to Nigeria, we take a group of volunteers who love traveling. You know, they're passionate about traveling, and also they're passionate about making a difference, you know, by using their skills to improve the lives of these vulnerable population. So we take them to Congo or Nigeria, and then it's all hands on deck. You know, while they're there, they're using their skills to help these women and children. And also, I've realized that it's not only like the support, you know, it's also the emotional support that they're giving to these women. You know,
Right.
just having them sit with them, especially those women who have been victims of rape. You know, just it's no one sits with them. No, like they can't even come out of their homes. But
Mhm.
these volunteers that we take, they befriend them, they mentor them,
Right.
like they become friends. And so they support these women like emotionally, physically, and I like countless times I've seen the smile on these women's faces. Like it just
Yeah.
lights up,
Right.
like it makes them feel like, oh, so I'm not dead. Like the community makes me feel like, it's not
Right.
my fault. I can still be loved, and so just that emotional support, it's something that we also provide to these women. And so if anyone who's listening who likes to travel, and also you want to see a change, I am a big believer. If you want to see a change, you need to be that change. It
Mhm.
starts with you.
Yes, and I will include links to your website. So anyone that wants more information on that who's listening can look into that. And yeah, we all need that connection. And that can be a great way to be able to connect and to serve in that way. As you mentioned there, to be the change for someone that's seeing all this or experiencing it, it might feel so overwhelming or like you can't really make a difference. What would be your answer to that? Or how have you, seeing all that needs to be done, been able to just keep going and keep doing the good work that you're doing?
I think for me personally, it's when you see how far these people have come, you know, like these people, they have nothing, but they are the most happy people I have ever met. And I had an opportunity. I was talking to one of the women, like, why are you so happy? Even in the midst of all these trials, all this storm, that you're having to go through. Why do you how do you keep this positive attitude? And she said something that I will never forget. She said, I have my life. They can take whatever I have. They can take properties, but God spared my life. And that's enough reason for me to be happy. That really hit close to home for me because,
Yeah, that's profound.
like I can't even imagine. Here I am. I've been really blessed, but then I'm not always happy. It's hard. It's so hard to keep a positive attitude, especially when you are going through one thing or the other. But then you meet these people, they're so grateful, they're so happy, they're so positive, optimistic. And so I've really learned just by working with these women, I've learned a lot from them. They might think that I'm doing them a favor, I'm helping them, but it is actually the other way around. They are the ones who are helping me. They've helped me see, I know how to always find the good in every situation that I'm in. And I've learned that attitude by working with these women. So if you are out there and you're listening, you're thinking, oh man, how can I make a change? What can I do? Or it's not enough. Just being friend of somebody, it's enough.
Yeah.
Just wanting the best for this person. That is enough. Whatever skills you have, not I understand not everyone have a skill, they can pass to another one, someone else. But just being a friend, listen and see how happy these women, like you just being a friend, it means the world to them. And so if you are out there, just know that you don't need to have millions or all the skills in the world to touch someone's life. it takes, or it starts by you actually caring about them, listening to them, and showing that support. Some people don't need money, they only need that emotional support.
Yeah. Oh, all of that is so beautiful, Best. And I, you've just said it perfectly. I don't think I can say it any better myself. But we do talk about on this podcast often about service and how it's the ability to see outside yourself and to serve others, and many times ends up benefiting those that serve even more. So, all of that is so beautiful that you shared. I again will we will include links to your website, but did you want to share any other places that others could find you or how they could donate if donation is what they're wanting to do to your foundation or some of the things that you're doing?
Absolutely. So they can, like you said, look us up on our website, bagalwafoundation.org. And then if they want to get involved, or if they are interested in traveling with us, they can also do everything on the website. They can make a donation if that's the way they're leaning to on the website. And also, they can also email me, best at bagalwafoundation.org, or shoot me a text or give me a phone call, 801-819-8231. I believe that together we can. I'm so passionate. I know and I believe that the continent a child is born should not in any way determine the quality of education or basic life necessity that that child gets. And so for people, or for these children in Africa, I feel like because of the continent they are born in, they have to go through all these trials. But it's now left for me and you to do something about it and see how we can lift them up,
Mhm.
helping them come out of this crisis that they've been through.
Yeah, I think that is such a powerful mission statement to what you are doing, and I think many of us agree with that same perspective that it should not make a difference where you're born, the education and the kind of life that you can have. And it's been such a eye-opening and good experience to talk with you and to hear about some of those experiences and to realize that we can help and make a difference in that way. And I just want to thank you for all the good that you and your husband are doing to serve so many in these communities.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm very excited that you invited me to this podcast. Thank you for all the good you're doing yourself, just putting the word out there. It means a lot to a lot of us who are struggling to lift others up. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I do know the challenge of sometimes just getting the word out about the
Mm.
good that you're doing so it can make a difference to just let others know and to have some education too. As you said, many of us have not experienced those things. And until we do, until you see it, or until you talk with someone like you that can educate and open our eyes, we don't really understand the need that's there and the help that needs to be given by so many of us that can. So I want to thank you for that and for being willing to come on the podcast today.
Thank you.
That concludes my interview with Best Bagalwa and learning about her foundation. And I was so appreciative just for her coming on and to give that perspective, to educate and open our eyes, those of us that have not seen the things that she and her family have seen over in Africa, and to let us understand some of the things that she's wanting to do and to help with. I think many times with giving and initiating that desire to serve or to donate or to give in the ways that you can starts with just education and really understanding and knowing the needs that are out there. So I'm so grateful that she came on and was willing to do that. And I also loved hearing how this all started as a family tradition. She started with her own family wanting to help and to give back, and it's grown into this foundation that she's organized. And as you can see, there are so many things that they are doing, so many different areas that they are covering and trying to help with the lives of people in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And I really loved some of those thoughts that she gave at the end of the episode. So many different things there. But just a couple she touched on was first, you don't need to have millions or all the skills in the world to make a difference. What a good reminder that is, that whatever amount or effort or time you can do matters and can help. And then I loved her sharing what her belief and mission is, that it should not matter what continent a person is born on for the education or the basic necessities of life or the advantages that they have. And as she said, it's up to us that have some of those advantages to take the charge and to help in the ways that we can. So, with that, if you are interested in learning more about the Bagalwa Foundation, donating, or going on one of the expeditions she mentioned, or any other capacities, I will put a link to their website in the show notes. And I will also put her email in there that she gave so you can contact Best if you're interested in learning more and wanting to help with the good things that she's doing. And I'm just so grateful for the time she took to come on and share it today. So, share this episode with someone else that you think might be interested in learning about this foundation and contributing to it. And thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.